What's up, EFD, and welcome back to Euro Transfer Talk. The winter window may be a couple of months away, but the rumour mill is spinning, so let's get cracking. We begin with a managerial switch that could be complete by the time you're watching this. Last night it was confirmed that Unai Emery was set to be appointed as Aston Villa manager, becoming Steven Gerrard's permanent replacement at Villa Park and marking a return to the Premier League after 3 years away for the former Arsenal boss. The confirmation came just hours after a report by The Telegraph that suggested Villa remained in talks with Ruben Amorim and that the Sporting CP coach was the front runner for the job. But as we know, things changed quickly in the world of football and Emery is back in England, with Guillaume Balaguer writing today that the coach feels he has unfinished business in the Prem. But while his departure may have come as a shock to Villarreal fans, the Spanish club have moved in incredibly swift fashion to identify his replacement. In the early hours of this morning, Fabrizio Romano confirmed that Quique Setien was set to be appointed by the Yellow Submarine, with the former Barcelona coach reportedly in direct contact with club president Fernando Roig. Like Villa before them, Villarreal reportedly approached Mauricio Pochettino only to be turned down by the former Espanyol boss, with Setien seemingly next on their list. Assuming that he's confirmed, we at EFD wish Setien the best of luck in his new venture. Following Emery's departure from Villarreal, someone else who could be set to leave Spain is Joao Felix, who has fallen out of favour at Atletico Madrid this term, having failed to score in 600 minutes of action and having not started a game since the end of September. So it's no surprise to see him in the back pages this week. Earlier this month, Madrid publication AS reported that the Portugal international wants to leave Atleti and apparently employed a psychologist due to his difficult situation at the club, with Alvaro Morata, Antoine Griezmann, Matheus Cunha and Angel Correa all ahead of him in the pecking order. Having joined for an astronomical €127 million in 2019, Felix has struggled to consistently assert himself at the Wanda Metropolitano, but the youngster, who turns 23 next month, may have some very decent options should he be allowed to leave, with both Bayern Munich and PSG reportedly interested. According to AS, both clubs made a move for him earlier this year, with Bayern in the market for extra firepower following the sale of Robert Lewandowski to Barcelona. But with over 3 years left on his contract, the likelihood of the German champions stumping up over €70 million for the forward seems unlikely, given their largely frugal track record in the market. And while PSG only possess 2 attackers under the age of 30, Kylian Mbappe and Hugo Ekitike, displacing Neymar and Messi in the first team would be an even greater challenge than the one Felix currently faces in the Spanish capital. We reckon a change of scene would be great for the former Benfica wonderkid, but we're not so sure about these latest reports. From a former wonderkid to one who is gaining an increasing amount of attention right now, it's fair to say Youssoufa Moukoko is finally enjoying the breakout campaign he has been threatening to have for a couple of years now. The Borussia Dortmund teenager has been spoken about for years but is still just 17 and has been a difference maker for Edin Terzic's side this term, netting the winner off the bench in their 1-0 win over Schalke in September, scoring in their 2-2 draw with Bayern Munich, and getting himself on the scoresheet again in their recent 5-0 win over Stuttgart. So we could expect to see his name on the rumour mill a whole lot more in the next few months, with a number of elite clubs said to be interested in the Germany under-21 international. And according to Spanish outlet Sport, Liverpool are best placed to land the Dortmund prodigy, who is averaging a goal or an assist every 74 minutes in the Bundesliga this term. Reds manager Jurgen Klopp is said to be a big admirer of Moukoko, and if he were to make the move to Anfield would be the latest in a long line of attackers brought in to freshen up the forward line, with Luis Diaz, Fabio Carvalho and Darwin Núñez all arriving on Merseyside in the last 12 months. But while his previous links to Dortmund could give him an advantage, Klopp is likely to face considerable competition, with PSG, Real Madrid and Barcelona also linked with the young star. However, while Moukoko's current contract at the Westfalenstadion runs out next summer, the idea of him leaving the club for free is far-fetched, with Bild reporting that he is waiting until his 18th birthday next month to put pen to paper on a new deal with the German giants. And having watched the likes of Erling Haaland and Jude Bellingham choose BVB as the club to develop at in their late teen years, it wouldn't be a surprise to see Moukoko commit another 2 seasons at least to the club he has been at since he was 12. But where do you see him going when he eventually leaves? Barca, Liverpool or somewhere else? And how much do you think he's worth? Let us know in the comments. Speaking of Barcelona, the Blaugrana could be set to make a sensational move for Inter defender and longtime PSG target Milan Skriniar. The Slovakia international was largely expected to make the move to Paris in the summer, only for the French champions to see a move for Skriniar rejected by the Milan club. And Inter sporting director Beppe Marotta is still hoping that the centre-back will pen a new deal with the Nerazzurri, who have underperformed so far this term and sit 7th in Serie A. Marotta recently told Sky Sport Italia that Skriniar is, quote, a serious professional who loves Inter, and that the club are confident of tying him down to a new contract, even if it ultimately depends on what the player wants to do. But with his current deal set to expire next June, time is of the essence, with multiple reports over the last month stating that the club would be willing to sell him for a cut price fee in January to avoid losing him for free at the end of the season. And according to Calcio Mercato News, Barca could challenge PSG for his signature, with Xavi looking to further bolster his squad after a big summer of transfer activity. And while they have been excellent in attack, the Blaugrana defence continues to face scrutiny, with injuries to Jules Koundé, Andreas Christensen and Ronald Araujo leaving them significantly weaker at the back over the last month. But with the fullback positions arguably in need of greater attention, we're not so sure that Skriniar should be the club's #1 priority. Barca's arch-rivals Real Madrid, meanwhile, are in the market for a fullback. At least that's according to the Mirror, who report that the European champions are after Man United's Diogo Dalot. Dalot has been one of the surprise stars of the 22-23 campaign, enjoying a new lease of life under new United boss Erik ten Hag, equalling his best ever average for chances created per game and looking more assured defensively too. The problem for the Red Devils though is that his contract expires next summer, and while there is an option to extend it by another year, the longer he takes to sign a new deal, the more potential suitors will fancy their chances of making a move. Of course, United have an advantage in that they have the means to offer the Portuguese fullback the kind of wages few others can, but with Champions League football far from guaranteed at Old Trafford right now, Dalot's ambitions as a player will also likely factor into any decision on his future. Real were reportedly interested in Man City star Joao Cancelo, who is once again enjoying a superb campaign in England, but having learned that the Premier League champions unsurprisingly have no interest in selling the former Juventus man, who signed a new 5-year contract extension in February, they have seemingly turned to Dalot, who at 23 offers a more long-term option in their quest to find an heir to Dani Carvajal and is currently valued at €35 million by the Football Observatory. But can you see the former Porto man being tempted by a move to the Bernabeu? Let us know down below. We finish off this week's episode with further speculation regarding Shakhtar Donetsk sensation Mykhaylo Mudryk. The Ukraine international has wowed audience with his displays in the Champions League, and the rapid winger has unsurprisingly gained interest from top clubs as a result. According to the Daily Mail, Premier League leaders Arsenal are frontrunners in the race for the 21-year-old signature, but face competition from Roma, who have reportedly already had a bid turned down by Shakhtar, with the club reportedly valuing him between £30 and £40 million. And according to Calcio Mercato, Roma's Serie A rivals Juventus are also after the youngster, who has apparently been monitored by the club's scouts for the last 2 years. Arsenal's Premier League riches mark them out as favourites to meet Shakhtar's valuation, while their failed attempt to land Rafinha in the summer is evidence enough that the North London outfit are after quality cover in the wide areas. But with Juve and Roma potentially offering quicker access to regular first-team football, a move to Italy could also be attractive. If he keeps up his current form, expect more clubs to become interested. So that's all we have time for on Euro Transfer Talk for this week, but which of these rumours can you see coming true? Let us know down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and subscribe to Euro Football Daily if you haven't done so already. Trust me, you won't regret it. Thanks for watching, we'll see you next time.